Now, as the last program of the day, we will have a Q&A session. We'd like to answer your questions as much as time permits. First, I'd like to introduce 4 panelists: Professor Lindy, Professor Ishikawa, and G30 students Shihab and Nadia. Now, the first question is, can you tell me about available scholarships and what about tuition fees? Professor Lindy, could you answer this question?
Sure. Okay, all right, so I'll speak for the G30 program, which is our full degree program in English. At the time you apply for the program, you can also apply for a scholarship. So the tuition is about just under 5,000 US dollars per year. Okay, just under 5,000 US dollars per year. So that makes, I think, coming to Nagoya University a lot cheaper than, in terms of tuition, than many other institutions around the world. But regarding the scholarship, you apply at the time that you apply for admission, and there's a couple of different scholarships, but essentially you would get your tuition covered and then a stipend. Now, one last thing is that also many of our students apply for tuition waivers while they are at Nagoya University. So even though our tuition is advertised as about 5,000 US dollars per year, many students end up paying a lot less. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Professor Lindy. And also, Professor Ishikawa, could you answer this question?
As far as NewPace is concerned, NewPace is Nagoya University's exchange program, yeah? As far as NewPace is concerned, as I mentioned in the presentation, roughly 40% of exchange students receive a JASO scholarship. So this is a Japan Student Services Organization scholarship. Well, I say 40%, but what 40%? Yeah, it's usually based on the academic record of students at their home university. Yeah? So students would be encouraged to try hard at their home university and maybe get a GPA of roughly 3.5 out of 4.0 on that scale in order to have a high chance of getting a scholarship. Yeah? As far as tuition is concerned, let me just answer that for exchange students as well, yeah. NewPace is open to students from partner universities, as I mentioned, yeah. And what Nagoya University does is it concludes agreements with partner universities, tuition waiver agreements, actually, they're called, yeah. So exchange students who come to Nagoya University are actually exempt from paying tuition to this university. The only finances or budget they need to worry about are the living expenses.
Thank you very much, Professor Ishikawa. Now the next question. Is it stressful to be a student at Nagoya University? Nadia, could you answer this question?
Thank you for the question. I don't think it is that stressful to be a student at Nagoya University. It is precisely because as an international student, I get a lot of support here. The professors are really supportive of my education, and our small class size allows us to directly discuss with professors, making learning much easier than it should be. Aside that, I also have a lot of friends here that are also just as like-minded. They're not only smart, but passionate, so it's easy to communicate with them. And also we have also a support system through our G30 professors that can easily communicate with us in English. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Nadia. Now, next question. What are your prospects after graduation from Nagoya University? After graduation, do you want to get a job in Japan? Shihab, could you answer this question?
So thank you very much for this question. I believe this is perhaps a very important question that everyone might be asking. So personally for myself, I'm very academically and research oriented, so I will be pursuing a graduate degree at a graduate school in the USA after completing my master's degree at Nagoya University. So this choice is quite a popular choice. As Professor Lindley mentioned earlier, perhaps 25% of the students that graduate from the G30 program go on to other graduate schools here or abroad. I would say perhaps the majority goes abroad, but quite a few of the students also stay here to continue their masters or PhDs here. And as for the graduate school destinations, we have destinations in Europe, we have destinations in the USA such as MIT, Caltech, or even Carnegie Mellon for automotive engineering. So these are also very prestigious schools. And another prospect that we have at Nagoya University is to pursue a job. So you either pursue a job here in Japan. A lot of the students that come here to Nagoya University G30 programs end up working in companies such as Toyota or Ajinomoto, and these are really world-class companies, and they have a very international environment compared to perhaps other other companies here in Japan. And another option is to go back to their countries or to go to other countries abroad and pursue jobs. And because the degrees here are very competitive, they often secure competitive jobs. And perhaps another surprising option is that some of the students here have a startup that caters to usually the needs of Nagoya University students and international students in Japan. So that's also quite a healthy thing to have on campus. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shihab. Now the next question. Is accommodation guaranteed throughout the period of study? Is it expensive? Professor Lindy, could you answer this question?
Okay, so for the G30 program again, the first year students are guaranteed accommodation at a dormitory. So all the G30 students in their first year live together. And after first year is completed, just before second year begins, students find accommodation. Most end up living in the neighborhood around Nagoya University. The dormitory fee is not very expensive. Shihab, what is it again for?
Yeah, so it's about
Yamate?
300 or from 250 to 350 US dollars in a month.
Okay, so about $300 US per month for G30 students their first year, and then many of them move into private accommodation where some of them live together, like in a group, but you can find, I think, reasonable accommodation around the Nagoya University area, maybe about $300, $400 per month. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Professor Lindy. And also, Professor Ishikawa, could you answer this question?
As far as exchange students are concerned, again, new pay students, yeah, as you can imagine, trying to find private accommodation if you only live in Japan for one semester or 1 year can be very, very difficult, actually, yeah. And it's for this reason, yeah, that all exchange students are guaranteed accommodation throughout the period of their exchange, yeah. So all new pay students can be housed or will be housed in Nagoya University accommodation. If they want to, of course, they can find private accommodation, and some students do this actually, yeah. But the guarantee is there. And as was mentioned already, yeah, it's very reasonably priced in Nagoya, actually, I think, student housing. So you're thinking usually of 25,000 to 35,000 yen, actually, per month. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Ishikawa. And now the next question. Why did you choose Nagoya University among so many universities in Japan? Nadia, could you answer this question?
Thank you very much for the question. I believe that all Japanese universities are very prestigious, and it is definitely very hard to get into this university, so it is an honor. But why I specifically chose Nagoya University among the other universities I was accepted to is because of the international student support. We have the most established ecosystem for international students, and our professors here are very supportive of our education, not only in Nagoya University, but also after Nagoya University. And that's why I chose Nagoya University.
Thank you very much, Nadia. And now this will be the last question. The question is it competitive to enter Nagoya University for international students? Professor Lindy, could you answer this question?
Okay, so for the G30 program, the short answer is yes. It is quite competitive to get in. Many of the students who enter, they've done very well in high school, and they have to pass not only the document screening, which takes a look at your GPA in high school and your activities in high school, but they also have to pass an interview, which can be a bit tough for some students. That being said, it also depends on the program. For example, automotive engineering, they end up taking fewer students than, for example, I think biological sciences will take more students in general. So you have to look at the different programs. But just very quickly, for both automotive engineering and physics especially, you need very high-level mathematics. The standard of mathematics in Japan, as you're probably aware, is very high. So students trying to enter those programs really need to do well at that in high school and also to do well during the interview.
Thank you very much, Professor Lindy. And also, Professor Ishikawa, could you answer this question about the New PACE program?
As far as New PACE is concerned, our basic GPA requirement is 3.0 on a scale of 4, actually, yeah. And as far as English is concerned, English language ability, we ask for a TOEFL score or an IBT score of 80, or maybe IELTS 6.0 even, yeah. If you're coming with the Japanese language proficiency, then you need JLPT level N1 to join the program, yeah. So it's probably not quite as competitive as the G30 program to enter. However, applicants to New PACE need to be nominated to us by their home universities, yeah. And sometimes the internal screening process at home universities can be quite tough, actually, yeah. So it's very, very important for students who are thinking about joining New PACE to actually contact the international office of their home university and check what the competition is there, actually, yeah.
Thank you very much, Professor Ishikawa. We have received many more questions, but as we are running out of time, we will end the Q&A session here. Thank you very much for all the questions.